Alright, let's do this puppy. 150 bucks, eBay, AmScope B120-C. It was taken apart, looks like the entire head. So we're going to try to put it back together. Cover's a little torn. That's okay. Alright. This base actually looks pretty clean. A little bit of stickiness on the action here. Fine adjustment is beautifully buttered. Iris seems to function fine. These objectives look fairly clean. Okay. This is bent a little bit, but hopefully it shouldn't interfere. Great. And I believe that this model also has a little slot for some colored filters as well, but I don't know where. That's okay. I mean, overall, everything else seems to be basically the same as brand new. Alright, well, so far so good, and frankly, if all I get out of it is the objectives, then I will be perfectly happy with that. So we're gonna rest you here for now, and get into this. Seems to be the accessories. I'm being very careful because the prisms are just loose in here somewhere, and we shall find them. Have slides and cover glass. Just gonna set those off to the side. Here we have our power cable. Standard 110, 120, I'm guessing. Oh, it says up to 300. That's a nice cable. Alright. I'm guessing this is an eyepiece. Ah, this is the camera. I'll not point that towards the light, but oops, there you are. Looks nice and clean. Set that back here for now, and this is the cable for that camera. Ooh, got an old USB here. Alright. And I'm guessing a cover for said camera. Now in here, let's set this bag to the side. What do we have? Here's something clanking around. I want to be real careful opening this. What do we have? All right. Beautiful. We've got lots and lots of eyepieces. fairly clean. They will need a cleaning. Ooh, this one's got some stuff on the backside, possibly. That'll be fun to take care of. Not. All right, we've got a 30.5 and a 30mm expander. And then we've got the wide focal 5x, oh, 25x, my bad. These also appear to have some sort of dust. Now this was stored for, I think, 5 years, just open on its side in a garage. So, we'll see. For now, I'm going to stand all of these back here. Clear this space again. Okay, let's get some white paper. That should work, and I'm going to pause and restart the recording. All right, cut to. I'm going to spray on my hands with some IPA. Just let them dry for a second. Maybe dry them off a little here. Get rid of this cardboard fuzz. Okay. So the head and the prisms must be in this bag. Whew, kind of nervous for this, but let's get into it. The camera's still. There we go. All right. These are screws and the front of the IPD plate and the prism covers. I think all of this. I don't know any of this. I'm not a microscope technician. Here we have the prisms. They were wrapped independently within this one tissue. It seems would have preferred a little bit more care, but I think overall that should be okay. Now, the one thing I was worried about in the images is this sort of damage here. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah. There's a little bit of a scratch right there on this rear mirror. So I don't know if that's going to impact the microscope at all. I think these are all smudged and everything. I think what I'm going to do is first try to clean these, reassemble the head how I think it goes, and then see what the picture quality is like after that. But I don't see any major damage on these other than that, and I don't see any internal flaws. Of course, we won't know until this is under magnification, but that's okay. So very carefully, I'm gonna wrap these back up and set them to the side. So we get into the rest of this. This should be the head assembly and the binoculars. Here's a binocular. Beautiful. Let's just set that there. keep any weird dusties out of here. And this should be the Siedentopf head with the other binocular still attached to it. Beautiful. And let's just first take a look down here. I do see possibly a little bit of debris inside there, which is tragic. I don't know if you can see that at all on camera. Maybe, maybe not, but I think I do. Then we've got the binocular here, which would be the right-facing binocular. And then we have this cavity here on the side, which I believe is where the prism sits and is held in by these 4 screws on the top and bottom. Again, I believe. I don't know any of this. I'm not an AmScope technician. I just bought this because it was too good of a deal to pass up. The internals seem fairly clear still. So I think what we have to do is just get started. I'm going to grab my fresh isopropyl and some other materials and we'll get started. Okay, we're back. So I've got my 91% IPA. I don't have 99, but this should work. I have some Q-tips. I have a nice microfiber cloth. And we have the Microscope assembly. I don't really have any idea what I'm doing other than what I have learned on the internet. So I'm very nervous. But I believe that this essentially slides onto here. The prisms go into either side of this assembly. They get closed up with the screws in the housing. There's these little red shims. I don't know if you can see that. It came with these little shims, these plastic, red plastic tabs. So I am a little worried about getting it collimated correctly, but can just do the best we can do, and that's that. And at the end of the day, if I got this base for $150 and I have to buy a brand new head, I will have still saved money, so I'll be happy. Alright, I guess first step, let's go ahead and take a couple of these and just douse them with a little IPA. And I'm going to clean this entire assembly. Maybe not super thoroughly because I don't even know how necessary this is, but it'll make me feel better about it, so let's get to it. Right. Get that a little bit more. Okay. I mean, overall, for having just been sitting in a garage for however many years, it definitely seems to be in good condition. Now, one of the things that the seller mentioned is that I believe the left binocular is droopy, so I think we need to get some probably helical grease and get that re-greased so that it doesn't do that. But we'll look at that once this is confirmed to be working, if I can get it working. Basically, I just want to get any little floofs off of this, any dirt, although it seems to be fairly clean on its own. I'm not going to actually go in and touch this yet, although I do see a couple of little things in there, so just with the very, very corner of this, I am going to swipe, swipe, swipe from the inside to the outside, and that should have removed that speck. I don't see it anymore, so hopefully that worked. All right. So I believe that the extra screw in here, there's one screw that's a different dimension than the 8 for these prisms, shoe fly. And I believe that that is to mimic this placement on the inside of this, but once it's installed here. Yeah, so that little screw should lock in to that. The only thing is I don't know how to move this other binocular out of the way to access that. Ah, I see. Okay, so that just slides all the way down, and then we have access to this this hole here, so that when we put this binocular back on, we will be able to screw it in from the outside there. Beautiful. Okay, so that's the general assembly, I believe. I think the drooping problem would probably be solved with some grease just on this inner surface here. But again, I will do that later if I am in fact able to fix this. Okay. So, logically, we would reattach this guy, correct? I don't have any grease that would work, and I'm not willing to put, petroleum or lithium grease in here, so we're just going to leave it as is for now and see if we can get it friction fit, and if not, then I'll take it back apart. Okay, well, I think everything is fairly clean. So let's go ahead and reinstall this binocular first. Just seat that down in there. We have this screw hole here now. Let's pull out our hardware. These are the prism housings. Fairly simple. They do have 4 screws on the outside that I believe are these tiny little machine screws. I'll just set these aside for now. Here we have the IPD gauge and a few more of those shims. So I believe that this just screws onto the front here. And then this little cosmetic FOV dial is seated on top with that screw. So I'm also going to set these aside. They're just cosmetic. Now we do have this mysteriously shaped O-ring. It has this curvature to it. Oh, and my glove is split. So let's get a new glove. Because I can't put it in the glove. Okay. Good enough. Okay, yes. This little gasket washer has this concave shape to it. So I would assume that this is the same as the piece on the other side and sits between these two. So let's pull this out and try to seat this down in here. Try to twist it and line it up with the curvature of the wall here. Does not seem to want to turn. Where? Yeah, that'll work. Just pop this guy out. Nope. Where are all my flatheads? Here we go. It's a very, very tight fit on this washer. There we go. So I think I need to get it lined up first and then just press it in there. All right, that pretty much follows the curvature of the wall. So now let's get this guy, slide back on, and there we go. You can see the washer through, well, maybe. It's in there. All right, and that needs to be reattached with this largest screw. It's also a flathead. All right. This glove does not want to get on my hand. There we go. All right. Is this magnetized still? Slightly. I think I can work with it. Just get that on here. And surgically place it into the socket. Gotcha. And let's just screw that down. Now I believe this is designed to somewhat friction hold this this head in place. So, yep, look at that. Can we manipulate? Ooh, that's a little too tight. Give it a quarter turn there, and now we can manipulate this up and down, and this side also goes up and down, which is a real shame for the person who sold me this, because that is what they were trying to fix. So I mean, yes, they did need to take it apart, but ultimately, if they could have put it back together, then they would be one telescope richer right now, and I would be one microscope poorer. Telescope. Okay, well, it's not smooth, so it definitely needs to be greased later, but I think just to test function for now, that should be more than plenty. So next we have this threaded area. Let me put these down so that we can see. We have a threaded area in there, and I believe that that is for this. Right, so we just have this little piece, and I think it just kind of screws on here. Right? Yeah. All right. So that's on there. It's not perfectly straight, but maybe. There we go. And then we have this little cosmetic cover for the IPD, and I believe this just slides over the top. They need to be loosened more. Oh, nope, there it goes. And we'll just even it out. Make it, you know, relatively level. It doesn't need to be perfect, but that should work. And it's a teeny, teeny, tiny little Allen key down there. So let's switch over to these. Man, it actually might be smaller than this. Let's see. Ooh. Nope, that's it, isn't it? Is it not turning? I got it. No, it did not. Wow. I don't even have a small enough Allen key. So, what to do? Maybe we just take some of this TPU offshoot and twist it up real tight like. That to turn this whole little thing. Nice rubber band trick. Sort of. It's still a little loose, but you know what? I'm gonna leave it for now, because the important part is what happens next. So make sure that this screw is tightened as sufficiently as possible. Great. Let's take a little more IPA. I do want to make sure that the back sides of these lenses, or inner lenses, I guess, are clean. There's not one on that side, but there is on this side. And I know they're press fit, so I'm just going to very, very gently start from the inside and swoop my way out. Okay, I do not see any other specs on those, so Oh boy, this is the part I've been nervous for. Let's set these aside. We've got these little shims. We've got... Just want to blow any remaining dust out of here. Oh, there's a little metal washer as well. Huh. Well, I don't know where that's supposed to go. But let's take the rest of this hardware out here. So we have 4 shims exactly. I would assume that there's just one. Maybe they aren't shims actually. Maybe they're just protectors. And the alignment is built into how the screws were set. Well, I think we're just gonna have to go for it, right? What is this? Is this Allen as well? Man, I love those Allen keys, huh? And what are these? Okay, that's a regular Phillips. It should fit this on this guy, I would think. One bigger. Yeah, great. So this is the last little pin screw that goes in here. And based on the diagrams I was looking at online, I believe that this prism with the extra chunk on the back is the diffractor. So the light will come in here. Half of it will hit this mirror and bounce to this mirror and then bounce that way towards the eyepiece. The other half of the light will go straight through this mirror and come down this top side into that eyepiece. So this portion needs to go in to this side like this, I believe. It is rather dirty on these surfaces, so I'm just gonna take a dry Q-tip first and just gently wipe these off, right? Other side. I know this is not getting everything, but hopefully this will take care of those little smudges that I saw earlier. And then we can come back in with our microfiber and just give these a nice little dab like that. And I think that looks pretty clear. Give it just a little, one last little circular. I'm not pressing very hard at all. I'm just kind of setting it on the surface and moving it out towards the edge of the surface. All right, so we've got the light coming in this side, hits the mirror and goes out, and half of it goes straight through this side. So that would mean that it is going to be inserted this way, right? We have the light coming down, hits this cross-sectional mirror, bounce, hit this mirror, and out the eyepiece. So what I'm going to do is Frankly, kind of terrifying. I think that this guy just slides down in between these screws and rests like so. Now, getting these aligned is going to be the biggest issue. But to start, I'm just gonna make them level and in place. That's my goal. So let's lift this a little and get one of these shims in here. Oops. I knew this was going to be difficult, but I did not. I may have underestimated. Okay, so how to get shoot. Okay, so this goes here, right? That goes on the bottom. That's gonna protect it there. We got this piece, and it's gonna get another shim on top, right? Now we're gonna carefully slide this in. Maybe I need to hold these in place. I may actually, because I don't think it would mess with the internal optics any if I did this, I may just temporarily tape these on if I can't get this to work. But I think that's it. I think they're good. All right, so let's just get it tight, and then we can play trade-off, right? Just clamp this down. I'm getting more stuff on this internal. Just wanna... Okay, I think I got that. Okay, I'm gonna tighten these a little bit, just a little. And let's assess. Okay, it may need to come out just a little. And I think the screws may need to go down a little. It's going to be impossible to tell until we actually test it though, so. Whew. All right, let's repeat that process for this reflecting prism, right? So we've got just a simpler mirror on this side, mirror on that side, light comes in and it gets redirected. Let's just clean all these surfaces. Okay. Then we're going to come in with our microfiber and just push off the surface. Start in the center and push away. Some little circles. That looks pretty clean to me. Okay, I would guess because of the angles that this one is kind of agnostic to how you put it in, other than making sure that this flip is correct. So we would have the light coming down this central part, hits this mirror, is reflected to this mirror, and then out the eyepiece, right? So it would need to go in like this, I believe. I don't know which side gets which, but I think the shim may have been here. Just based on that. So that's what I'm going to try. Now, very carefully insert this prism all the way, just like that. And then I'm going to tighten these down. Hold this in place. I do think collimation is going to be a real pain. But those don't seem to be moving at all. And if I look down here now, there's a little bit of dust, and actually the mirror may be misaligned. But that's all right. We're here to investigate this sort of thing and put it back together. So to protect the prisms, I'm just going to put one of each of these on. Keep that from going anywhere. And number two. Okay, that was the assembly process. Now I'm going to test it and come back if it doesn't work.